Hi everyone, welcome to a new session of MOPs Talks. Today we've got Massimo Minniti from Cloudbeds with us to speak about campaign tracking and attribution. So welcome Massimo. Maybe you want to tell us some words about you and Cloudbeds.
Of course. Hi, Julian. Hello, everyone. It is really nice to be here, and thanks for having me. Yeah, my name is Massimo Minniti. I'm usually based in Barcelona, Spain, but I've been traveling quite a lot recently. And my role at Cloudbeds is Director of Demand Generation. So I lead all the revenue generating teams at Cloudbeds. And it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks, Julian.
Welcome, thanks to you. Before starting in the details of the conversation today, Massimo, if you were not to be the DemGen director for Cloudbeds, what would you do on your free time?
It's a very good question, actually. I think I have two options. One, I will try to convert my hobby in my actual profession, which is kite surfing. I love doing kite surfing around the world. So if I could also make money about that, probably living on the water or on the beach is not really a bad idea, but it's also a lot of effort. So maybe having a beach club with a kite surfing school where I can just lay down with a coconut and just see people kiting and kite myself from time to time. That's not a bad option either.
Sounds good, sounds good. Well, meanwhile, let's see how you
Right.
surf marketing campaigns and data. And let's talk about that a bit. So, uh, how at Cloudbeds have you been till recently? Because I know we've changed a bit things on that, but historically, have you been measuring marketing impacts and marketing performance on the revenue at Cloudbeds? And what was actually the pain point you might have, or the thing that you were missing from this way of tracking things?
Perfect. Yeah. I think to answer this question, I want to give a little bit of context in general, which I think is very important. So, in general, for revenue generating teams in marketing at Cloudbeds, and mostly my team, which is actually the demand generation team, especially in pre-stage B, Series B, and after between Series B and Series C. Uh, of course, our primary focus was the paradigm of the SaaS company, so growth, growth, growth. So our main focus in marketing was net new business and growing the new net ARR. So if you think about it, like our main source of business was the inbound channel. That's where we have created a pretty consistent machine since the beginning of time. And about like 85% of the leads that we were generating from inbound were direct demo requests, which means that we were handing them off immediately to the sales team, which basically was creating a pretty simple and short, let's call it life cycle of the prospect. So because of that, we were relying on very simple lead reporting, So in terms of attribution, we were attributing either to the first touch or the last touch at the lead level that was passed afterwards to opportunity and account. And we would select either one or the other for the actual attribution. And meanwhile, we were focused on those specific, let's call it motions of marketing, so generating new business that are not in a database. That was fine, right? Uh, but then the company started to grow, and also the motion and the priorities for marketing kind of switched. If you think about it, the database that before was very small in terms of leads that we have in the system started growing quite a lot. So we had a lot of things in the system that came with an original source, but they were unconverted, right? Or where they were disqualified leads. So that was one factor. How do we nurture these people, and how do we attribute the credit if we manage to convert them? Another big piece was started focusing on customer marketing activities, right? So upsell, the revenue generation from the upsell specifically, was quite new priority for us. And of course, if you think about a customers, you already have first or a last time touch attribution for that specific record. So we were missing a lot of steps that were in between, right? And the ability to give credit to all the different touch points that were touching and influencing the buyer stage. I think I remember one recent study that I was reading on Google Discovery and I think YouTube, where specifically for B2B, not necessarily for enterprise target, but also for SMBs, the average number of sources that influence the buyer within the stage were like 23. So four from the discovery to the final, let's say, buyer stage. Uh, so let's say that first and last touch attribution were not enough, right, for us. And also, last thing, were apart from nurturing campaigns on existing database and customer, there was also like the offline events. We started doing more and more field events where would invite prospect to join to a physical event in different location of the world, and 99% of the cases, so these leads were leads that we had existing in the database. And when we had the opportunity to close one of those deals at the event, the problem of, okay, how do we assess the performance of the event was very, very difficult because we didn't have access and we were blind on those specific touch points that were happening in between the creation of the lead and the closing date of the opportunity.
Cool. And what is the, in average, the time of the sales cycle for closing a deal?
Yeah, also this is something that it's been evolving, and I think it's a very good point because it's also a reason why we started needing to shift the reporting and the way we track the analytics. Usually on a inbound leads that were belonging to the SMB segment, it was around 30 days. Yeah. So let's say that it was pretty fast in general. And since a couple of years, we started, scaling and trying to go to a more mid-market segment. So a different type of customer type, where of course the sales cycle and the buyer, the decision making became completely different, right? So from one decision maker, we passed to 4 and 5 decision maker from 30 days. Now on a strategic sales deal for a big property, we average between 90 days and 100 days. So also that I think was a big point, saying, okay, it's not enough to know where I have generated the lead from, if it was from a LinkedIn ad, from Capterra or any other source, or what was the last interaction, because there's a whole journey that you're missing in between.
Exactly. And this is often points that we see with other customer, other B2B marketers, where whether you're targeting like more enterprise people, where you're going to have sales cycle that last longer, where you're going to have more contacts involved in the negotiation, not only one contact linked to one deal, but maybe 3 or 4 contacts for the same negotiation with a lot of interactions. So we often see the needs here where how do I understand what are the different touch points, what are different interaction and marketing initiatives that really influence, serve to not only create the lead in the database, but also start the negotiation or accelerate the negotiation and get to close some interesting deals, right?
100%.
So definitely a big topic. So I know we've been brainstorming a lot on this one. Do you want to explain us a little bit what is today the thing that have been implemented and how you are now tackling this topic today?
Yeah, I think without going into technicalities, I think the main thing when I'm trying to explain what we did in this project of implementing a campaign reporting to a stakeholder that is not that technical is basically what we fundamentally changed the perspective. So before, like, the reporting, the starring actor of this game of this movie was the lead or the contact, right? And the lead was walking into a path and then getting influence from external variables, if you will. So right now we change the perspective, and what we are able to do, what we have unlocked, that it's gold for us because we've been blind for so long, was the being able to assess the point of view of the marketing initiative instead. So the if we imagine this metaphor is the initiative that is walking, and we need to give them an actual ROI, right? To track how much is the portion of the revenue that is being influenced by this specific marketing action. That could range from email marketing campaigns, so a nurturing campaign that try to nurture from disqualified leads or raw leads that get put in the system, to a webinar, to an event, or any possible marketing initiative that is affects the whole life cycle of the lead, or of the contact or the account, if we're talking about customer marketing specifically. So there were a lot of questions that we weren't able to answer. Imagine when we were running a specific, just a one-off campaign, newsletter campaign. So how many people we were able to influence, no, with that specific campaign, and we were always tied to, okay, I can tell you that this lead, we sent the email to this lead, and it was converted to an opportunity and closed. But the only data points that I have is what how it was created and what was the last, let's say, conversion point on the website. So now this has unlocked a lot of conversation and a lot of ability to assess a lot of marketing initiatives that range outside from the classic, top of funnel lead generation with a Google Ads marketing campaign of a brand new leads in the system. And I think this is very crucial for a scale up that is growing that much, that need to, be able to recognize out of 15 or 20 initiatives, which are the ones that really make an impact. So this new attribution model, this new perspective that we were able to unlock thanks to that, really gave us a set of new eyes completely, or new glasses, if you will. So
In
that's very cool.
a new conversation, right? So now you can discuss
New
with
conversation.
stakeholder, go and chase budget and resources to work on initiative because there is a ROI behind this, right?
Attached. Indeed.
Cool, cool,
100%.
perfect. A As a last point, so now it's cool. You're able to track opportunities, influence, and the different touch points and the shared revenue, shared influence on that. What we've seen, and one of the trend that we've seen as well on between marketers and company, is being able not only to track those actions that are really linked to a conversion point, a form or something, but even signals like DemGen is growing as well a lot without necessarily brand. So interaction in social media platforms, things that we don't really, for instance, capture in Salesforce easily. So there is a lot of this on not only scoring the contact, the campaign, but also the account engagement globally. So I know that this is a trend that we are working on as well quite a lot. What would you say that at Cloudbed you would work and keep working on to improve this analysis and reporting on the performance of marketing?
Okay, I'll be pretty straightforward and concrete because I have two big ideas in mind, and they're tied to a couple of topics that I mentioned before. So the first one is that this new model is really unlock us the possibility to understand the performance of the email marketing channel, which is, I think, the main channel for lifecycle marketing. So I've been always very curious to understand granularly how much the content that we are providing is really affecting
Mm-hmm.
a lot of, the increasing the score of a specific prospect to actually bringing it to a conversion. So really drill down what we built, the infrastructure that we built on a specific like email level. That's one. And the second one would be, how do we really adapt this model to the customer marketing piece, which I think is uh, pretty similar, but for certain instances is also a little bit different. So how we make sure that we are really able to understand on an upsell or an upgrade, which are the things that really are making an impact, and at what point of their journey is the best time to try to influence them and when it's not. So these two are for me top of mind. Are things that I couldn't sleep at night while I didn't have my new pair of eyes. So it was really one of the biggest project that I had in mind. And yeah, also thanks to you guys that you help us in building the concept behind, which I think was even more difficult to do rather than the actual technical implementation. Yeah, finally we have it, Andy, and I can't wait to start, analyzing all the new data that we have and try to make smarter decisions based on those.
Cool, 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 cool. I'm sure more to come. So thanks a lot, Massimo. Was nice talk and nice overview on all this campaign tracking and challenges. So see you soon for more. Thanks a
Thanks a
lot.
lot, Julian, for
Bye
having
bye.
me. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.